Good afternoon and welcome to the RS2 Security as a Service workshop. My name is David Barnard. I'm the Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at RS2 Technologies. Along with me today is Jeff Bransfield, our National Sales Manager. We're very excited to be here today to take you on a tour of AccessIt Universal in the cloud. Some of the things we'll be doing today, you'll hear from some of our integrator partners, and they'll be explaining to you why, where, and how they've used the software as a service or security as a service. I will be using those terms interchangeably today. They'll be explaining to you what, why, where, and how they've used that. We will also be hearing from our RS2 Tech support team, and you'll get some insight on some of the reasoning behind why we've moved forward as we have. Beyond that, we'll get into what is software or security as a service. We'll also get into some of the common scenarios that you would use this for and how you would approach it with your customers. And then we'll get into how to do some demoing and also some pricing on the product. Okay, we're going to start out talking about what is security as a service and especially how it pertains to the security industry. We'll talk a little bit about what it means for end users. We'll talk about the cost savings, network security, remote management capabilities, and other perks related to that. We'll also try to talk for dealers where you can pick up some cost savings, more revenue, and the biggest thing that we are trying to get across to everyone today is the ability to develop recurring, not reoccurring revenue. Recurring revenue is what will take you through some of the hard times that we've been through in the past several months. So without any further ado, I'm going to talk a little bit about the different offerings that we have. Currently, we are offering a dedicated server product where you would be working on a dedicated server, an individual server that is based in a co-location facility or in the cloud, as some people like to say. And then we will also talk about our shared server offering. Our shared server offering is, for us, it's a bridge product to bridge us through to the point where we will actually be able to offer a true cloud-based offering of RS2 to our dealers and in turn to their customers. So let's first talk about the dedicated server and what's involved there. It's our AccessIt Universal software. It's not had any special modifications. It's the software that your people use every day and are trained on. Terminal services, or RDP, are enabled on it, so it will allow you to get in to manage that server and do work on the server for your customer without being handcuffed by their IT department and other things that we all know that we can run across problems when we're trying to service our clients. It'll have import-export utility enabled. It will have the web client enabled. We're recommending that you use the web client for most of the access that your client does. But again, it does support RDP. And when we release version 8 of our software, there will even be some options available for you for thick client access to the cloud server for your client when they need to use things such as badging utilities. Again, we do badging through the web client that will help with doing badge design. We have some test cases where we're doing video, DVR, NVR integration, things like that. The connection to the cloud, we use the IP client settings in the Mercury hardware using a single port for that connection. Again, makes for the setup and the security at the cloud level much stronger, easier, but also very secure. TeamViewer is loaded for remote support so that if you do have problems and you need help from our technical support group, the team viewer is right there for them to be able to get with you and work through issues or concerns on the server. The version upgrades are handled by RS2 as a part of this software as a service, so that's not something that you will have to work with or be responsible for. Also, you won't have to be working with the customers or the client's IT group to try to get that done and scheduled. We will be handling that for you. Management by the SaaS group. So we have a group inside of RS2 that actually manages the server piece of that. But the traditional tech support is available that you all know and love. So if there's a general question with the software or programming, you simply call our normal frontline tech support line and they will help you work through that issue. The RS2 software or security as a service shared server option, again, as I mentioned earlier, is a bridge product for us. The long-term goal we're hoping to attain in 2021 is a true cloud-based solution. But in the interim, we needed to have a product that would allow you to fill that 6 to 25 or 30 reader system niche in the market and be competitive with the other vendors or other companies that play in that size or that level of the market. Again, it's our AccessIt universal software, so you're not having to learn a new software, deal with another software. There will be a separate site for each of your clients, but as the integrator, you will be able to access with your login all of your clients' individual sites or silos to be able to service and to help them with that. But when your clients log in, they will only have access, obviously, to the site that contains their system. It's priced, and Jeff will get into this more later, but it's priced per site and number of SCPs per site. Again, the integrator logins, like I say, you will have access to all of your customers under a single login. We are saying with the shared server, it will be performed with web client login only. So again, keep in mind this is a bridge product, but it is web client access only, even for the integrator with this product. We will support the import-export, and we will do those imports and exports for cardholder data, things like that. When you do the initial setup, a one-time load will be included. If you need import-export down the road, there will be a fee for that work to do that. We will support photo badging for an additional monthly fee, of course. We will support email notifications for an additional monthly fee. And again, the servers will be managed by the SaaS group, but you'll have traditional support with the tech support from RS2 that you all know and love and have loved for many years. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about what are some common scenarios or some things that you would look for, or what would be some keys to, this might be a good candidate for a SaaS deployment. One of the biggest things when you're meeting with your clients, if you walk in to meet with them, and the first thing you discover is that they're an Apple house and or Macintosh house, and they don't have any servers, that would be one thing to key off from. Another thing is a lot of times early in the discussion, they'll ask you, is this a server-based product or a cloud-based product? Obviously, that would be another thing that would be your cue to, okay, time to put my SaaS hat on. The other things, and again, some of the gentlemen who you'll hear from right after I get done with this will tell you about some of the things that drove their customers to the cloud. again, the first words out of their mouth are, well, it's a constant battle with our IT department, or we can't even, load anything on our machines locally. Those types of things should be, setting off that alarm in your head that says, I think this person would be a good candidate to talk to about a software as a service solution versus a local server-based solution. Again, there are a lot of other things to talk about. I don't want to take up the balance of the workshop talking about that. So I think what we'll do right now is we're going to move into some of the interviews, or some of the discussions that we had with some of our integrators who have successfully deployed one or more of these systems. And without further ado, we're going to turn that on right now.
We're an access control company. We're a security integrator. We're not an IT VAR. It's not, and it never has been, our desire to get into providing and maintaining servers or server hardware or operating systems or virus definitions or things like that. So it's a great appeal in many instances to have have the ability to manage just the application and what's beyond the application as it relates to hardware and things. Database upgrades, application upgrades, backups, et cetera. Being able to offload that is just a wonderful thing in many instances. So it's not all the time, right? If we've got an enterprise environment that's got the staff to support that operating system and that hardware, then typically that's what happens. But in instances where that's just not available, it's great to have an option to offload that.
Right. Yeah, and of the ones that you've pushed towards this environment, what's their feedback? What's the end users feel and feedback that they're giving you?
Oh, I mean, it's great. They've got all of the RS2 special sauce, if you will. The application being as powerful and intuitive as it always were. The support, all of the good things, right, being experienced without the bad things, and bad things being, again, database backups. You don't even have to worry about upgrading your software. You open the application and you're on the latest and greatest tested version. You still get the same level of support. So again, I kind of feel like it's all of the good without the bad for those sort of customers.
Jesse, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you kind of taking some time and just chatting a little bit about your experience so far with deployment of our SaaS model. A couple things just to kind of shoot out. If you could touch on, what are some of the things that you as an integrator decide, what the right fit is for a SaaS model versus an on-prem, and what are some of the benefits that you've seen by launching this, as well?
Well, like on the project we did in St. Louis, some of the things that we have to think about is how many door locations they're going to be doing, where the customer is located. Is it close to our facility, or is it long enough distance out where we'd have to do some traveling to get to the site? So those are some of the main things we think about. Also, what's their IT departments like? Do we have someone that is on site that runs their IT, or is it a remote IT site? So when I'm coming into a customer, I got to think about, when I'm deploying a server ourselves at the site, what kind of facilities are going to be. So like they do an upgrade to Windows, and now all of a sudden our database is all missing because they erased everything. So with running the SaaS, I don't have to ever worry about that. Long as they have network to the outside world, the unit will be able to update and make changes, see live transactions via the RS2 server. So that was one of the main things we thought about on this project. And on that project, we actually went with Invixium bio reader, and it is also supported through RS2 with the SaaS. And I think it's actually the first one that they've done, and it's been working great for the last couple months. Haven't had any issues. At any time, I can go in there and check how and see how everything's communicating, see any transactions. And anytime the customer calls with an issue, I'll be able to instantly hop on, find out what's going on, see if there's communication, find out if it's just operator error.
Brandon, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to us about your experience thus far, as well as everything that you guys are wanting to kind of plan moving forward, right? So, that's what has it been, 5 years? I think I've been talking to you guys about a SaaS model and what you wanted to do with RS2 in this manner. So you've been a big piece of that as we built this and designed that in and around your wishes. So how's it been at the beginning of this? And, kind of what are some things that lead to your decision making when you're out talking to a customer and what fits where, right?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Jeff. Like you mentioned, I mean, it seems it has been about 5 years ago that we started looking at growing. End point for us is growing as a company. How do you grow as a company? RMR, recurring all day long. That's how we internally want to grow as a company. So we came to you guys. I think we started that conversation and kind of bounced off some ideas back and forth on the pricing model, what services were going to be added, shared servers, dedicated servers in the cloud, and kind of game plan from there. But initially when our guys go out there looking at it, we're looking for a couple of pieces of information. One of the biggest is IT department. Does this end user have an IT department? Are they a mom and pop kind of convenience store? Are they a manufacturing facility? Do they have internal IT department? Do they have a third source hosted, or excuse me, computer company that does that? But that's kind of what we're asking for. We're kind of figuring out that information. The guys then are kind of seeing based off of that, is this a good fit? Cost wise, is it a customer that doesn't want to worry about maintaining their own equipment, their own server? Is it something that we can look at doing the cloud solution for them, more or less to take out that piece of information and kind of go from there? But obviously, with the cost kind of being more of a recurring monthly fee, we found a lot of customers are liking that more so than having to maintain their own equipment. So it's been a benefit. I mean, I look at it from the problems that we were having before. Our guys would go out there, sell a system, show up to do the job, and a business is running Windows 7 Home Edition. Obviously, you can't do that with the software. So what we're kind of doing now is going out there and we're leading with the RMR solution, with the cloud solution, saying, hey, Mr. Smith here down the store or down the street, we don't have to worry about loading any kind of software on a computer. You don't have to have a dedicated computer or a server. We can go ahead, we'll get you guys all set up, get that information going. You don't need to worry about static IP addresses. That was another bit of information. You start throwing around some of this network lingo and they look at you with deer in the headlights. I don't know any of that. I just want to be able to lock the store down. I want to lock the store down at a certain time, and I only want these individuals through. I can do that for you. You can be able to access that anywhere, more or less to where you don't have to be on site. During the last couple months, the biggest push, we've kind of tweaked it to be more of, hey, how do we want this to be provided with the COVID kind of in mind? A lot of people are not really in their offices all the time. So before I know we could do it with a web license, but it's way easier nowadays to just go ahead and do it with that cloud solution from home. If there's ever a COVID situation, they can lock down the doors immediately and not have to worry about going out on site. So a lot of benefits for us. We're excited. It's worked out really well for us. So we're looking to continue to grow with that.
Super. I just want to thank some of our integrator partners for contributing to today's workshop. And Jeff, you and I are going to move right into a previously recorded interview with Bill Staley from our technical support group. So, okay, joining us right now, Jeff and I right now, is Bill Staley, our technical support group manager. And he's here to share with us some of the struggles that he and his team have seen in working with you, our integrator partners, to service our clients. And So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Bill, and maybe you can just share some stories or share some of the things that your team sees, some of the struggles that they see, whether it be with servers or with access to servers, database servers, application servers, just things in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Dave asked me to sit here and talk some more of the common calls that we kind of come across in our day-to-day stuff with technical support. And thinking about it, one of the most common things we get is all from the installation phase of the software, whether it be trying to locate a download link to install the software, or you have the download link, but you don't know where the server is to actually do the install. And then once you actually find the server, you find out you need to have an IT person rounded up to come in and log in for you. All in all, it could take half a day just to get an installation done, which is not fun for anybody, let alone us on the phone. Some of the other things we come across has to do more with Windows OS compatibility, whether it be you show up for a job install and you find out the customer's still running Windows XP or running Windows 7, or they have the Home Edition, or some of the more fun cases with enterprise customers, they made their own operating system from the ground up, and all of which you have to turn around and kind of calmly say, this isn't going to work with the software. So any cases where you could have a software install that doesn't require you to touch a server, let alone do an installation, is just saving everybody a lot of time and money. Some of the other things we come across have to do more with the database side of things, because our product does rely on Microsoft SQL Server. So a lot of our install headaches come from Microsoft side not playing nice and us having to work with Microsoft or researching on the Microsoft side of things why that level of things isn't working properly. So by not having to do a SQL Server installation, that again, saving you time, money, and a lot of headaches. So one of the benefits I'm looking forward to with the SaaS deployment we're coming up with is going to be less calls on installation and more focus on how to use our product and make the product better, which is going to make everybody, RS2 included, much more successful.
Super. That sounds great. Thank you very much, Bill. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks.
That was great. We want to thank Bill for his contribution. And at this point, what we're going to do is move right into Jeff Bransfield talking to you about what you should do or what you can do to enlist the help of our RSMs and other RS2 staff to help you sell this product.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I mean, mainly, guys, I want you to, early and often engage with your RSMs. If you don't know who your RSM is, I hope you do. Obviously, all the contact information is on the website, rs2tech.com. We have a full demo server set up in the SaaS environment that we are using for demos as needed. The guys can, point their kits to the cloud, on site with a, end user, possibly to show it there. We're also encouraging a lot of our end users that are really, taking that step into selling SaaS as an option is just jump in and get started. Set up your own site in SaaS of your office building if you want to. It shows really well when you can get in there and say, look, guys, this is my office door, and I can, do this, that, whatever, from a phone, from your laptop, etc. So, we really believe in showing off the product. Sorry, mask is slipping a little bit there. Showing off the product and really, getting it in front of people. So, engage us early, engage us often, and we're really going to, find some success.